Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will present about the police role in delinquency prevention and control. So this is our team member. Firstly is myself, ELLIESYA ADRIANA binti RISMAN, and my partner is AUNI FARHAH. So this is our content. We got 7 subtopic and we will explain to you guys later. Okay. Firstly is 10.1, which is introduction. Police officers play an important role in all communities in the prevention and control of delinquency. Their presence at public gatherings of juveniles designed to serve as a deterrent to disruptive or violent behavior. They have broad discretion in the handling of youth observed or reported committing unlawful acts. They also serve as the major source of referrals to the juvenile courts and frequently discover and report behavior by adults that is contributing to the delinquency of minors. Officers who have frequent contact with juveniles, whether they are regular patrol officer or member of the Specialized Juvenile Unit, have opportunities to observe them in situations that are reported to parents or members of social service agencies only after the fact. Jadi kat sini contoh perhimpunan awam adalah seperti acara sukan, tarian ataupun konsert. Jadi role polis officer ni dia untuk menghalang daripada berlakunya tindak laku ganas. Contoh dia, polis akan jaga lalu lintas ketika konsert. Polis ni dia ada budi bicara luas untuk kendalikan bela yang diperhatikan ataupun dilaporkan melakukan perkara yang menyalahi undang-undang. Polis officer ni juga sebagai sumber rujukan utama mahkamah juvana. Contoh dia, ada orang report pasal kes jenayah dan polis akan investigate and then dia akan report kepada mahkamah juvana. Jadi officer yang kerap berhubung dengan juvenile ni ada seperti pegawai biasa ataupun anggota unit juvenile khusus yang ada peluang perhatikan mereka dalam situasi yang dilaporkan oleh parents ataupun agensi perkhidmatan sosial. Guru, majikan, parents interact dengan belia dalam situasi tersusun ataupun yang baik. Maksudnya parents akan nampak anak diorang akan berkelakuan baik saja, tapi polis nampak sebaliknya. Lagi-lagi apabila tiada ibu bapa di sekeliling. So dari sini kita akan nampak yang bila anak-anak mereka melakukan kesalahan, parents akan deny action anak-anak diorang dan mengatakan yang anak mereka tak buat. Tapi polis sedia maklum yang dengan kebolehan belia, apabila di bawah tekanan rakan sebaya, semua perkara ni boleh terjadi. So dekat sini ada contoh cerita tentang alcoholics is arrested for speeding. So jadi pegawai Malaysia dalam tanduk ni nampak kereta yang dipandu laju dalam 50 mph dekat dalam zon 35 mph. Jadi pegawai-pegawai ni kejar and ask the driver untuk berhenti tepi. And then nampak seorang lelaki dalam lingkungan 20-an dan seorang perempuan. Jadi Michelle ni dia minta lesen memandu dan nombor pendaftaran kereta, tapi driver kata kereta tersebut bukan milik dia tetapi ayah dia. Dia juga lupa dapatkan nombor pendaftaran kereta dan lesen dia tertinggal di rumah. Apabila dah di investigate, driver ni adalah Al Hollis, umur 18 dan ayah dia bernama Frank Hollis. Jadi Lantano ni check registration number using plate number, tapi nama untuk kereta tu bukan nama Frank Hollis. Jadi Lantano ni dia membuat panggilan radio ke stesen dan disahkan yang pemilik asal kereta tu hilang kereta tersebut. Jadi kereta tu ditarik ke balai. Lantano maklum pada Al dan pasangan, mereka ditahan kerana mencuri. Jadi Al ni dia jujur yang sebenarnya umur dia 16 dan dia memandu ke negeri sebelah untuk berkahwin dengan pasangannya. Tapi Lantano ni dibagi amaran. Dia kata apa yang Al cakap ni boleh digunakan untuk digunakan against him. Jadi dia pegawai ni pun dia call lah parents kepada Al dan ibu dia telah confirm that her child is 16 and come to the police station. Jadi Al diberikan kepada seorang polis dari ahli di bahagian pasukan juvana untuk menyelesaikan masalah ni. Jadi bila berhadapan dengan situasi macam ni, pegawai polis dia mesti terlebih dahulu mempertimbangkan undang-undang yang berkaitan. Mereka mesti bertindak balas ikut tahap serius kesalahan, umur dan sikap pesalah. Walaupun Jabatan Polis bangunkan beberapa jenis biro dan unit belia khusus untuk golongan muda yang terlihat dalam tingkah laku tidak boleh diterima, tapi pengendalian mereka dalam bidang juvana merupakan tanggungjawab kompleks dalam aspek penting peranan. Okay, seterusnya 10.2 Police work with juvenile. After the establishment of separate juvenile justice system starting in 1899 with the first juvenile court in Cook County, IL, the formalization of juvenile justice process were brought about by various U.S. Supreme Court decisions granting rights to juveniles charged with crimes. The major areas of police efforts in dealing with juvenile include discovery and investigation of delinquency, disposition of cases, protection of juveniles, and delinquency prevention. Jadi dekat sini, selepas penubuhan sistem keadilan juvana yang berasingan mula pada tahun 1899, First Mahkamah Juvana di Cook County IL memformalkan proses keadilan juvana. Polis bertemu seseorang yang terlibat dalam perbuatan langgar undang-undang. Dia ada peluang untuk guna their own judgment to handle the situation. So the less serious violation macam pergelandangan, gangguan keamanan dan kecurian kecil yang boleh dihandle dekat jalan dengan pelbagai menggunakan budi bicara regarding what the best approach to follow. Dan perkara ini digunakan oleh polis pada masa kini. If dibenarkan budi bicara, polis bergantung pada faktor-faktor seperti pengetahuan tentang belia, family belia, sikap dan sebagainya. Jadi dengan profesionalisasi kerja polis dan pengkhususan serta penyeragaman dasar polis yang berkaitan dengan pemprosesan pelanggar undang-undang juvana, banyak budi bicara polis telah dihapuskan. And then, the attitudes of the community residents toward juvenile misbehavior will have an effect on how the police will respond to the encounters with juveniles in which they can use their discretionary judgment on how to proceed. All verbal and non-verbal information can talk about a situation that a child is in or what their home life is like. These things are essential to be able to detect when you are being lied to, then you must put together what the purpose of the lie is. Getting out of the dealing with people in their own environments and seeing how differently people live from how you do can give you a huge leg up in building your insight. So dekat sini, officer we will answer a question that asks what an officer needs to develop a special kind of insight when responding to juvenile involved in delinquency. So he gives the answer is there with lots of people of all ages and cultures and make hundreds of little judgment based on how people is dressed, how they carry themselves, how they speak and their body language. And other factors, the time of day when we see them, the location where we see them, and what they were doing when we see them. So a police officer honing these skills is very important. Being able to read into what a child is telling, interpreting the words they use and the words they do not use. All verbal and non-verbal information can talk about a situation that a child is in or what their home life is like. These things are essential to be able to detect when you are being lied to, then you must put together what the purpose of the lie is. And then officer level have been questioned about how does an officer obtain this insight. So he said that train ourselves to people watch every person unit each day, it displays clues to who they are, what experiences are also very important. And this can be obtained not only through police work but through social work, probation or feral work and has a host of other disciplines. Getting out and dealing with people in their own environments and seeing how differently people live from how you do can give you a huge leg up in building your insight. So next is 10.2.1 Police response to misbehavior of youth. So Lawrence and Hammonds emphasizes 2 points when examining the role of police officers in interaction with juveniles. Some people's perception of the police are shaped mostly by their first encounter and believe youth have less respect for authority than adults do. Authors view these officers as a challenge to avoid detection when engaged in many types of unacceptable behavior ranging from petty mischief to serious offences. Research in Chicago found that police juvenile contacts have two basic sources. A citizen-initiated investigation occurs when a report is made to the police that unacceptable juvenile behavior is occurring. A police-initiated intervention takes place when an officer observes activity or a situation that is suspicious and investigates. The researchers found that most police attention to juvenile occurs as a result of citizens' complaints. 3 out of 4 of the contacts were initiated by complaints from a citizen. And then the Lumen demonstrates police use of discretion in their decision making. Many police juvenile encounters could have ended in arrest, but the juvenile law violators were arrested in only 16% of the encounters. All instances of felony offences ended in attempted or actual arrest, while a few of the minor delinquency or status offenders were arrested by the police. And then specialization in the police organization, police changes, and the introduction of new legislation pertaining to children have an important effect on how police respond to the youth who are either law violators or victims of criminal behavior. Community policing introducing many jurisdictions as a means of making officers more responsive to the needs of citizens in specific areas within larger jurisdictions. So to be concluded that officers in the neighborhood where community policing was used were involved in the activities designed to enhance prevention, create diversion possibilities, and increase youth advocacy and parental support. So next is 10.2.2 Police discretion in responding to youth misbehavior. Several alternatives open to them in dealing with reported or observed instances of juvenile misbehavior. The seriousness of the offense, the youngster's age, appearance and attitude, the neighborhood and the child's home situation, the local laws, the type of police department in which the officer is employed, the type of training the officer has received, and the officer's own personal prejudice and opinions affect the way an officer will operate at each discretionary opportunity. They may release the young person after questioning at the site of the misbehavior, admonish and then release the youth, divert the youth to a youth service agency, transport the youth to the police station for questioning and release, issue a citation for the youth to appear in juvenile court, or transport the youth to the juvenile detention center. The decision whether to use informal means to dispose of a case or to take formal action is more complex than it appears on the surface. Research has demonstrated that the decision is grounded in less tangible factors, include the attitude of the youth at the time of contact with the police, the officer's personal prejudice and biases, the race, sex, and social class of the youth, and the area in which the juvenile is apprehended. So Pilevin and Breyer observed the activities of a Metropolitan Police Department for a 9-month period. They concluded that 90% of the youth with whom the police had contact were minor offenders, and type of the unacceptable behavior under investigation was not consequential in the police officer's decision on the course of action to be taken. And then Gray state youth were uncooperative, cocky, or argumentative in their encounters with the police were more likely to be arrested than those who appeared to be sorry for their actions and act fearful and respectful. Several later research studies on police-juvenile interaction confirm some of the conclusions made in the research of Pilevin and Breyer, but question the importance on youth demeanor in the police's decision regarding the course of action to follow. Other researchers, Hurston and Richetti, found that minority youth are overrepresented among those arrested and held in detention, and the decision-making by the police was found to contribute to this overrepresentation. Hurston and Richetti found that minority youth were held at the police station longer and placed in detention more often than non-minority youth. Differential treatment occurred for females as well as males. Cam Leonard found that African American juvenile females living in cities and urban areas were more likely than white juvenile females to be detained. While in rural settings, white juvenile females were more likely to receive informal supervision than white males or African American males and females with similar offense characteristics. So next is 10.2.3 Police Juvenile Diversion Programs. Many police departments operate diversion programs. The goal of the programs is to keep youth from being formally involved with juvenile courts and being labeled as delinquents, and to deter them from the further unacceptable behavior. Kwiatkowski studied the diversion programs of 16 police departments in the 5 counties in Northeast Ohio. They analyzed the structures and administrative policies of the programs to determine if they were effective in curtailing further delinquency of the youth referred to the programs. So the programs were placed into the three distinct types of orientation. Firstly is social service orientation, in which the dominant focus was to provide treatment, intervention and services to the youth and their families. Second is balanced restorative justice orientation, in which the dominant focus on the program was to equally emphasize the protection of the community, address the needs of the victim, and provide the service necessary for the needs of the youth referred to the program. And lastly is social control orientation, in which the dominant focus was to hold the child responsible for the deviant act, require strict compliance to the rules and regulations of the program, and terminate from the program any youth who did not adhere to the provisions of the contract. Of the youth referred to the programs, approximately 15% were advised, counseled, and released at the intake interviews. The remaining were placed in the police liberation program. Those committed a new offence, 84% of the offenders committed either a status or misdemeanor offences, and 16% committed a felony offence. So the diversion program activities most frequently utilized were unofficial probation, community service, school-related disciplinary action, and referral to the service agencies and individual counselling. It has to be concluded that regardless of the way the police diversion programs were structured or the orientation of the program, certain factors work toward making the diversion programs in the study succeed. The factors are, firstly was the commitment of the youth who completed the program. Second, they had to commit to the goals of the program. And third, lastly, regardless of the orientation of the program, the participants had the opportunity to interact with adults who were concerned about their welfare and assisted them in achieving their goals. Next is 10.2.4 Factors influencing police decision to take youth into custody. So under the Uniform Juvenile Court Act, National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws 1968, Section 13A, child may be taken into custody. So firstly, pursuant to an order of the court under this act, pursuant to an order of the court under the laws of arrest by a law, and thirdly is by a law enforcement officer if there are reasonable grounds to believe the child is suffering from illness or injury or is in immediate danger from his or her surrounding, and that his or her removal is necessary, or if there are reasonable grounds to the belief that the child has run away from his or her parents, guardian, or other custodian. It is apparent that juvenile may be taken into a police custody for reasons unrelated to unlawful behavior on their part. The various state codes allow an officer to enter a private home and remove a youth if there is evidence present to indicate that the child is in danger or in need of immediate medical assistance, such as an action in term emergency temporary custody. Reference to the juvenile, the term custody is preferable to arrest, even if the action is taken because of alleged illegal behavior on the part of the youth. Use of the term custody will eliminate the confusion, such as variation in the recording or the reason for the inexact nature of nationwide statistics on the number of youth arrested. Juvenile court statutes have detailed provisions for the handling of juvenile once they have.
Next, police procedure and juvenile right. Questioning and interrogation procedure. Juvenile have the right to remain silent and have legal representation, and some states require Miranda warning during investigation. Numerous lower courts have ruled that full Miranda warning must be given to juvenile in custody during investigatory questioning. Numbers 2. Court case like Haley v. Ohio 1914A and Callegos v. Colorado 1962 have ruled that a juvenile confession can be inadmissible if the interrogation circumstances were improper. The Supreme Court ruled this due to the totality of circumstance principle, including the absence of parent or lawyer. The last one is two Supreme Court cases, Yabaro v. Alvarado and JDB v. North Carolina, involved police questioning of juvenile in custody. In Yabaro, 76-year-old Yabaro was questioned about a robbery, but was not given Miranda right or an attorney. His case was appealed to the Supreme Court, where the court ruled that the juvenile age and maturity were significant factors. Next, Identification procedure. The criminal justice process rely heavily on the use of a line-up for suspect identification, and suspects have the right to request counsel to minimize unfair or discriminatory conduct. Wade v. US established guidelines for line-up procedure, requiring physical similarity between suspects and emphasize the difficulty of arranging juvenile suspect line-up, often requiring one-to-one identification. The principle of fundamental fairness in photo identification must also be upheld to juvenile suspects in line-up procedure. Different courts have ruled on the application of this principle to juvenile cases. Next, fingerprinting and photographing juvenile. Juvenile code instead has specific provision for fingerprinting, photographing, press publication, and police record. The Uniform Juvenile Code Act and the National Council on Crime and Delinquency advise against this practice unless necessary and destroy all non-guilty fingerprint records. Guidelines for fingerprinting, photography, and identify juvenile prohibit filling with adult or central data bank, destroy record without petition or charge, and prohibit publication of juvenile offender names to protect them and their family. Juvenile record can be expunged for sale depending on the state. Police department may separate juvenile arrest record from adult record or refuse to release information. The care and discretion in handling juvenile arrest depend on their crime prevention philosophy. Some departments may provide name and information if needed. Next is specialized police unit investigating offense against children. Police often become involved in cases where a child is the victim of an offense, but have the authority to act in the child's best interest in emergency situations such as domestic disturbance. Investigation of a juvenile offense may involve the initial officer of a special juvenile officer. Recurring skill to collect facts without trauma. If the abuse is criminally changed, physical social worker, prosecutor, and treatment specialist may question the child. Various support agencies, including emergency custody, and ensure official competence in handling children care. Joint interview or videotaping reduce multiple victim sharing, while police officers must be skilled and sensitive to children needed. Juvenile Bureau in large departments are composed of numerous officers and support personnel, with the operative varying based on department goal and priorities. Activity vary based on the city or community served and the size of the unit. Administrative police determine the point at which official intercase. Some departments require a mandatory referral of children involved in police juvenile encounter. Line officer handle community juvenile contacts, with juvenile unit officer taking over when youth are brought to the police station. However, police officers may be uncertain about department policy due to the independent nature of the juvenile unit. Police youth can control units. Police-sponsored delinquency prevention activity date back to the early 2000s century, focusing on recreational or sport activity such as the Police Athlete Language (PAL), which originated in Philadelphia in 1942. Police developed youth program to improve juvenile quality of life, target endangered youth population, and address violence in school. CREATE, a school-based program, originated from pioneers in 1991. CREATE program in the US involving local police and school promote alternative gang involvement through cooperative agreement involving police training, personal development, and cultural enrichment activity. Next is police role in community and program for delinquency prevention. Police sponsor delinquency prevention activities that back to the early 2000s century, primarily focusing on recreational or sport activity. Police developed youth program aims to improving juvenile life through opportunity provision and targeting endangered youth population for delinquency prevention. create a school-based program in Pioneers, aims to address violence and victimization in school through cooperative agreement between local police and school, focusing on personal development and culture enrichment activity. The last one is community policing. Community policy overview involves police creating program to foster cooperative relation with community residents, involve close person-to-person interaction with officials assigned to specific community section, high official visibility and use of various patrol methods, including foot patrol. Goal including crime prevention, citizen problem solve, service satisfaction and quality of life improvement. Police service focus. Official must connect with community urgency, advise or referral for appropriate service. Ulang je Police service focus. Official must connect with community urgency, advise or referral or appropriate service. Follow up on referral to ensure service are archived. Community policing activity and their impact. Strategists argue that community policing activity such as sport event and recreational program distract from police work. Police work with juvenile local needs and functions. No national guideline or state standard. Function and goal developed based on the local needs. Some unit focus on law enforcement, limited in investigative work. Apa aku baca ni? Apa bodoh ni? Ulang balik. Some unit focus on law enforcement, limiting to investigative work. Other expand to social and recreational service. Some organize and supervise recreational activity. Controversy over this directive from the other police workplace. Police official role in juvenile crime prevention and law enforcement. Official time spent on recreational activity, community speaking and counseling youth operation.
And for the last, our topic is 10.7, which is summary. Police work with juveniles. Investigation of complaints initiated by citizens or suspicious behavior observed by officers. Decisions made on whether to question and release the youth, release after an admonition, take the young person to the police station for additional questioning, lodge a charge against the juvenile and release them in the custody of parents or request secure detention. Majority of juvenile police contacts do not lead to arrests or juvenile court referrals but are disposed of in other ways. The type of disposition made in each encounter is based on the seriousness of the offense, the offender's age, appearance, attitude, and the area where the offense occurs, and facts about the child's home situation and previous juvenile record. Juvenile officers' activities often include counseling parent and children, speaking engagement in the schools or community, and investigative work. Gang control units often share information with units from other cities and with special task forces developed to monitor and inhibit gang activities. Community policing plays important roles in delinquency prevention by their presence in places or situations where juvenile misbehavior might occur or through providing special programs or positive experiences for young people. And that's all from us. Thank you.